Hello and welcome to today's video on the coronavirus pandemic for the United States, July 19th, 2022. Taking a look at the old CDC transmission map today, you will see 97% of all counties are either in high transmission or substantial transmission. Still a bad situation on that front. Today we got a variant proportion update, and the BA.5 variant makes 77.9% of the cases. The BA.4 variant is 12.8% of the cases. BA.2, .12, .1 is 8.6% of the cases. And BA.2 is just almost about 0.5% and quickly is starting to become non-existent anymore. Today's case update. Today was slightly lower than last Tuesday, but I think we might have had less states report than last Tuesday. It used to be Wednesday was always the day with the most states reporting. Last week it was Tuesday. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. If it trends to be lower again tomorrow, maybe that's a positive sign. Maybe it's not. I don't really know what to make of it yet. But anyhow, here's today's number. 197,035 new cases. That's 9.2% less than last week. Down. Deaths today are still continuing to rise. 650 deaths added today. And here's something I like to see. Over 1.1 million tests were added to the count today. So 1.1 million tests conducted. That's a good thing. Hospitalizations, not so good. 41,752 people are in the hospital. That's up by 935. That's a pretty significant increase. ICUs also increased today. Remember late last week and all the weekend we were watching them drop? Well, it appears that might have been lagged information, and they are rising by a good bit now. 4,745 people in the hospital. That's up by 167. Let's run through some of the states, but first, looking at the map here, some places are down, some places are up. It's a relatively mixed map tomorrow, but we'll give it one more day and see what happens tomorrow. Taking a look at today's cases, 74,682 cases were reported in California. That's a multi-day lag count. Texas, 9,145, and Texas is relatively interesting. We'll get to that in a bit with the state reported data, but that is down slightly over last week. Florida, 12,309 cases. New York State is down, but I think they're having a testing problem in New York State. As you'll see when we get to the state reported dashboard, the positivity is relatively high in New York State right now. 3,800 cases in Illinois. Pennsylvania, 6,437 cases. That is a multi-day total, and not one that I'm proud of. Michigan, 16,445 cases. That is down slightly over last week. New Jersey, 4,300 new cases. Tennessee, 5,800 new cases. Tennessee is going up relatively quick now. Virginia, 3,200 new cases. That's pretty much flat. Wisconsin, 1,900 cases. South Carolina, weekly amount, 13,918 cases. Washington State, 7,400 new cases. Kentucky, 1,000 cases. And it just continues on here. Let's go with Louisiana. Louisiana, 3,600. Maryland, 3,500. Oklahoma, 3,500. So you get what's going on here. Generally, a mixed bag picture across the country. And finally, we're going to look at Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico might finally be coming down after all this time. Only 518 cases in Puerto Rico today. All right, taking a look at Walgreens data. Nationally, the positivity has leveled off. 41.9%. So again, it hasn't really risen again today. Taking a look at Maine, 25.5%. New Hampshire today, 29%. Vermont has dropped slightly, but if you look at the past history with Vermont, it pretty much goes up, down, up, down, up, down, so can't really get much of a picture on Vermont, but 14.6%. Florida is now up 1.1% week over week to 44.7%. And also, California has finally leveled off at 51.6%, and Texas is at 47.9%. Speaking of Texas, Texas positivity today is at 29.96%, so that is down slightly. That's some good news. But on the contrary, the hospitalizations are 3,392. That's up pretty significantly. They're about to hit 3,400 and probably will do so tomorrow. Taking a look at New York State cases again. 5,420 cases reported in New York State. The positivity in New York State is now at a whopping 11%. That's telling me they are not testing enough in New York State. Taking a look at hospitalizations, they have increased quite a bit in New York State to 2,628, and admissions are up, but they're not up as much as last week at this time, and I think that's because they reported one day later last week. If I remember correctly, they didn't report till Wednesday of last week. So therefore, admissions, though they're up over the last couple days because, remember, it's a lagged report, they're not up as much as previous 2 weeks. Taking a look at the HHS dashboard, you will see here that hospitalizations did rise again, 41,888 people in the hospital, but there is some good news. The national capacity, number of beds being used, is down slightly again to 74.37%, and what's interesting is that's happening with less hospitals reporting. Usually when less hospitals report, we see this number rise, and it didn't. So that's an encouraging sign. So see where I'm coming from here? It's kind of like mixed signals right now. Like, is the BA.5 wave still increasing? Is data being covered up? Can't really get a good read of where we're headed here, but at the moment, it does not appear that the BA.5 wave is rapidly accelerating faster like it was last week. Seems to me like we may have leveled off, and maybe we're missing a lot of cases because of the at-home testing, and who knows, maybe the data is being messed with, but it's definitely some encouraging signs, let's put it that way. Give it another week or two to kind of figure out where we're going, though. Taking a look at the national picture, France today, 134,000 cases. Brazil continues to rise with 58,000 cases. Italy, 120,000 cases today. Japan is slightly lower today. That's some good news. 79,000 cases reported there. Australia is continuing to rise. This is really bad. And I don't have their hospitalizations here, but I did see something on Twitter that their hospitalizations are approaching an all-time high. That's really bad. And let's quickly take a look at the weekly trends, shall we? Weekly trends, down 3% weekly on cases worldwide, and down 9% worldwide on deaths. Japan continues to be up 5%, 105%. And Germany all of a sudden is starting to rise again. That's kind of a concern because they peaked from their BA.5 wave. I'm wondering if the BA.2.75 wave is starting to come into picture there. I don't have any sequencing data. I'm going to try and get that to you maybe tomorrow or the next day, see if I can find anything. But it does appear like it's starting to go up in Germany again, because previous week was 638,000 cases. This week is 673,000 cases. So that's up by about 40,000 or so, around there. All right, quickly taking a look at the monkeypox outbreak. Today, the UK had a daily one-day record of 281 cases reported. Spain, 175 cases reported. And the United States only reported 136 cases. I'm expecting we're going to see a lag dropping in the end of the week, because New York State yesterday literally reported like 150 some cases or something like that, and that was equivalent to the number of cases that the CDC reported yesterday. So we're probably going to see a lag dropping in the reporting later in the week, where we see like a day with 400 or 500 cases reported. All right, that's all I have for today. Remember, avoid large gatherings, avoid any function that's not necessary, avoid conferences. If you're going to meet up with someone, hey, wear a mask. I mean, take the safety precautions. And continue to mask everywhere you go. And remember, we're all in this together. Stay safe, everyone. We'll have another pandemic update video again tomorrow. So long for now.